it's kind of hard to analyze Ron just for the fact that he'll really post a shot really good. Then the next thing is he kind of jumps up out of one like he did there. I would assume, shouldn't assume anything, but you know, feet could get a little fast, approaches could get a little sticky. There's a lot of things that can make you jump out of a shot.
Cleans up the 10-pin, though. Looking for the 12th PBA 50 title of his career. Tie him for third on the all-time list.
Yeah, and he's probably going to be PBA player, 60 player of the year for like the 4th year in a row also.
Who's counting anymore?
Yeah, it's at some point it just becomes a moot point. Walter Ray throwing a Vapor Zone asymmetrical ball. Now he might be the only guy on the show throwing asymmetrical. So we'll see how that plays out. You know, everybody else is throwing a ball that's going to probably store a little more energy and get down the lane just a hair farther. And Walter's using one that could possibly start rolling a little sooner, but he's playing a little farther inside. It kind of looked like 7, 8, 8, 9 right there at the arrows, out to only like 3, 4. He's not getting as far right because he knows if he gets it right. Even when I was bowling today, he goes, you know, if you get it to the gutter, it's going to go Brooklyn, and if you don't get it there, you might not hit the 3-pin. I go, well, thanks.
That's a sport shot in a nutshell.
Oh, you got away with that one.
Now, the Vapor Zone is a pearl bowling ball, correct?
It is a pearl. They're both throwing pearl, but,
right.
you know, with that asymmetrical core, it's going to rev up a little bit. And as you watch that one, it looked like it might have died just a little bit too soon, you know, just for the fact that, one, Walter doesn't have the rev rate that some of the guys do, but I just think with as much friction as there is and throwing an asymmetrical ball, it could lose energy too quick. I mean, every ball thrown, if the lane was long enough, would slow down. And if it slows down too quick, you're not going to get the carry. But thank God we have great carry here. He hit it light, and he got away with it.
Here in Wyoming, Michigan.
Speaking of light carry, that looked like the 4-5 went sideways.
We'll check it out right here.
Well, that was kind of interesting because Ron just basically crossed the same area that Walter's playing. So they're on top of each other. Now, whether that black diamond going down the lane could affect that, I mean, I don't think there was enough shots that come into play to make a difference down lane to where the ball won't finish. But, you know, even like guys that go to the USBCs, you know, we always talk about trying to create hold, and there's not a lot of hold on this pattern. Obviously, it's only 34 feet, so, and it's a fresh pattern, so it's tough to create any hold.
Moore looking to double here, down 20.
Half pocket, hit him thin, watch him spin. So, you know, if you're hitting half pocket and you're striking, do you move to line up to hit flush? Question of the day.
Almighty question, isn't it?
Yeah, somebody can Facebook me and answer that question.
Walter Ray looking for number 4 in a row.
That was a little straighter
today.
And everybody probably heard fancy.
I know I did for most of the week.
That crossed like 9-5 down lane, so he's tightened up the line, which is, I think, is a good thing because there's so much friction out there. You want to play the friction, but that's pin up. Basically, kind of what I call 12 o'clock right over the bridge. Mass is pretty tight. It's going to get the ball down the lane. A lot of times when you get that mass way out, it causes the ball to roll earlier.
Walter Ray, front 5 now.
I think she scared the pins down that time.
Pretty sure one of them fell because of the scream.
The vibration.
Match number 2.
Walter Ray with the front 5. Ron Moore answering the call with strike, spare, double.
Here at
Walter's
Spectrum Lanes, Wyoming, Michigan.
And I hope we're coming back next year. This is a beautiful place. I mean, when this thing gets all done with that boutique and the other rooms over there, and I can't imagine what else he's doing to it because this is awesome.
Chase Kaufman alongside Tom Carter.
Ron Moore answering the call.
Match. Ron Moore still down 20 pins through 5.
Ron Moore's focus is unbelievable. And I've said it before on the show, and people have probably heard me, but you know, he used to be an air traffic controller, and I think that job requires a ton of focus. At least I would think it should. You know, how many people's lives you have in their hand. So he has a great deal of concentration, which is fantastic. I just wished I had it. I'm jealous there too. Ron Moore, look at that index finger. That thing is pushing on the ball, something fierce. You know, that locks up your wrist, keeps it firm, so you don't flop at the bottom of the swing. He pushes hard with that index finger.
That one looked like it got a little more around. It didn't seem to roll out after 40 feet.
Yeah, and it was
so.
a little higher in the pocket. It looked like it kept going. Ron Moore talking to the crowd. You watch Walter. You know, he does something a little bit different. He blows in that thumb hole, get a little bit of moisture, just gives you a little bit of tackiness. But, you know, we always talk about getting the ball into the swing early. And Walter tends to push it up a little bit, which is not what you normally see, especially out of the young guys on the tour. They're always dropping like Dominic Barrett, Chris Prather. You know, just they get that swing. I mean, to me, if 3 o'clock straight out in front of you, 12 o'clock's at the ceiling, 6 o'clock's at the floor, they push it, to me, it looks like to about 4:30 unless it drop right into the swing. And Walter's got like a little bump up, you know, gives him a little bit more delayed timing at the line, but obviously it works for him. Not everybody does the same thing out here.
Sure does. Looking for the front 7 here. He's got to carry. Able to swish out that 7-pin.
Well, he didn't like that release at all, and that ball looked like it quit at 50 feet, but it caught enough of the head pin to mix him up. That ball hooked and said, oh, the heck with it. But the 4-pin laid down just in front of the 7 and knock it over. I hope he didn't hurt his wrist, because he grabbed his wrist like that wasn't so good. So we'll see on the next shot.
Moore been involved in a lot of high-scoring matches today. Lost to Leclerc in match play, 259 to 199. Bob Learn Jr. shot 266 against him. Terry Metzner shot 223 against him.
Local.
Eugene McCune shot 259 against him. Larry Verbal 221. These are high scores. The average to make this top 5, I think, was around 225, 224.
Right. You know, as we went across the house here, I mean, the lanes played pretty much the same. I mean, there's some slight moves here and there, but today there was a pair that was just kind of brutal. There was a match between Pete Weber and Doug Kent, 25 and 26, I think, and it was 150 to 139. And two players like that, both Hall of Famers, both have won the U.S. Open and the Masters. How do you shoot 150 and 139? And you got to say it's not their ability. That the lanes play just that weird.
To make matters worse, the guys that came on the next game, I believe they shot a 490 combined.
Oh,
Pete
nice.
Weber split 5 times in that game and won his match. That's
that's amazing.
That's got to be, but maybe not a first, but maybe a second.
But that's why we do this goofy game. You know, you never know. We're fighting an invisible enemy out there, and we're doing our best to try to read ball motion and make adjustments so that we can get to the pocket.
Ron Moore down quite a few marks now. Got to find a couple doubles.
Ron Moore
within himself.
If he strikes out 259, but Walter right now is going at a 300 pace. We'll see if he grabs his wrist. If there is an injury there, he does wear a little bit of wrist support, but maybe he just didn't get out of that one as well as he'd like to.
Oh, and by the way, to finish the high scores against Ron Moore, Lenny Boris shot 277 against him in position round.
Oh.
So, not Moore's weekend. Everybody just wants to beat him. And Walter Ray, that includes him.
Well,
front
yeah.
8.
Well, Walter's been wanting this 15th title, and he's obviously going at it pretty aggressively. You watch that follow-through. He is just, you think he's playing horseshoes with that follow-through that he's got going. One more shot here. Good.
Looking for 9.
That didn't sound so
Yeah,
good.
I didn't see the shot, but I heard the sound, and that sounded like
Yeah.
it hit straight
Yeah.
through the face.
Normally when he just stands up like that, he didn't like it. So either he got it in.
It almost looked like he didn't swing it enough.
No,
you know?
he
Looked
never
like he
got
didn't
it
get
to
in
the
enough.
spot down lane. But there's that wonderful black diamond that's got to be 50 years old. That is his spare ball. It's going to go straight if it doesn't thump all the way down the lane. He has the unique ability to throw it end over end. That ball doesn't go anywhere. And you heard it going thump, thump, thump down the lane. Can't hook when it's in the air.
As long as you get him, that's all that matters. Walter Ray, PBA and USBC Hall of Fame member, all-time
Well,
tour leader titles with 47 titles.
It's just amazing that you can win that many times. And he's another ever-ready bunny. He'll probably he's going to the next tournaments, but in between tournaments, he finds regionals and does lessons and clinics, and it's like he never stops. I don't know if the guy ever sleeps.
Labor of love. Ron Moore looking to strike out here in the 9th and 10th to shoot 259 and force Walter to mark at least.
There's the first one.
9th.
He's going to make Walter come to the dance.
Walter would go 256 if he were to go 9 miss. So Moore still with an opportunity.
9 miss. Did you just say 9 miss?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fine. We'll just say open. 9 miss is the easy way to do math, but I doubt we'll be seeing that.
Oh, the odds. I got to
Odds
think
of a
about
9
that one.
miss, Probably.
The odds
Would
of,
you take 10,000 to 1?
of Walter missing a single pin. I've seen it happen, but man, I wouldn't want to bet on that one.
Yeah, when was that? Like 20 years ago? 25?
1962.
He accidentally grabbed a horseshoe. Moore looking for the 1st and the 10th. And you saw that just not take that turn in the end, left a flat 10.
There's something different about that shot. And what it looked like from my angle, there was a little more airtime off of his hand. He didn't get it off of his hand as clean as he did the others, because he actually from here could hear it literally kind of bang on the lane, and that ball just didn't obviously read the pattern at all. So it is going to be all said and done for Ron Moore. Even if he strikes, it's 238. Walter has 238 in the bag without throwing a ball.
And that 10 pin will do it there. 237 for Moore. Williams already at 238. What a tournament for Ron Moore. Once again, I feel like we have to say that every single tournament.
Well, he's on every week. I mean, it's almost like a sitcom. He's at 7 o'clock every week. Ron Moore is going to be on the show, I mean, which is a great thing. You know, most of us out here would just love to be on the show one time, let alone as many times as he makes it.
And
oh my goodness!
Walter already won.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I don't know if he tried something different, but I hope he learned something on that shot, because obviously that's not what he wants to do the next match. You know, if I was him, which I'm not, but he's already got it won. Why try to pick this up? Use a different ball, throw it down the lane, and see what it's going to give you. You know, this is a freebie right here.
And he's going to go for the spare. You know what? He just wanted a full rack. That's what he wanted to do.
Okay, so now he can try a different ball, throw it down the lane, and see what it's going to give him. I mean, but it's Walter Ray. He's that good. He doesn't. But as many games as he's bowled, he is trying a different ball. So, hey, I got something right.
Now, what ball is that, Tom?
That is a Conspiracy Pearl, and that might be the ball that he won the first 3 titles with, because that's what he used the first 3 tournaments to win. So I know that ball is still in the bag.
So what is this? Is that a little stronger, a little weaker?
It's a little bit stronger. It's going to roll up a little sooner. It's not going to be quite as violent on the back end. It's an asymmetrical ball also. So it's going to just have a total different motion. That is a radical ball compared to the Brunswick ball he's throwing. Great tournament for Ron Moore. I'm quite sure that we're going to see him next week and the 2 weeks after that in the PBA 60. We'll be right back with the next match right after Eugene McCune takes his practice shots.
Okay, we are ready to start the semifinal match here at Spectrum Lanes. Eugene McCune has elected to start the match on the left lane. Eugene McCune's won 3 times on the PBA Tour, and he's going for win number 1 out here on the PBA 50 Tour. He did win as a non-member out here, but not as a member. So first title for Eugene if he wins today. Walter Ray Williams Jr., Eugene McCune. Let's give him a nice send-off to start the semifinal match.
Eugene McCune will elect to start on the left lane here for our semifinal match.
Same thing Walter did last match, so not that I think it's going to affect Walter a whole lot, but, you know, it might get into your head a little bit. Eugene McCune throwing the bullets most of the time, the high hard one, up the outside, but it looks like he elected to go inside and hook it. for a strike.
McCune starts off strong. And this is not the first time these two have faced each other this week. They've actually faced each other twice. Once in match play round 2 and another in the position round. McCune won both of those matches. The first one 267 to 224 and the second 234 to 228.
So I had mentioned earlier that Walter might be the only guy on the show throwing asymmetrical. And as of right now, I am wrong because Eugene McCune looks like he started out with an astrophysics, which is a asymmetrical ball, moved inside. But if I'm not mistaken, on this pair earlier, he played like 20 on the left lane and 3 on the right lane. So we'll see if he chooses to do that in this match against Walter Ray.
Yeah, they had a tiebreaker roll-off game to decide the first seed between him and Lenny Boris Jr. And obviously, seeing Eugene here, Lenny won that match. And midway through that game, Eugene decided to move all the way left. He was going around 1920 at the arrows, and that was deeper than I'd seen anybody all weekend. So that was quite a shock to me when he decided to do that, even though we all know what his A game is.
Yeah, I'm surprised because normally when they get like that, Eugene will just pull the grips out of the ball and throw it harder up the outside.
Chuck it.
And somebody here was timing it. The monitors was saying that he was throwing it like 1920, and a guy put a stopwatch on him, and it ended up being 23 mile an hour. He was throwing a ball up the outside.
We'll check where he's playing at right here. He's actually not going to play outside.
He has moved in on both lanes. But Eugene's got, not only does he have speed, he has an incredible rev rate also. So this guy is probably one of the most underrated guys that have probably been out on tour. He's got so many tricks that he can do with his hand and speed and loft. And just like I said, like pulling grips out. I seen him at a tournament pull grips out of the ball, throwing it over the gutter, and shoots 279. You know, just unheard of things. You know, and this is what you call thinking outside the box and figuring out a way to win.
And that one looks like came out of it weird, but somehow.
Yeah, it looked like he lost his
Still
balance,
good.
came out of it weird, but it bounced off the outside because we know that there's friction out there. And if that ball had been slower down lane, it might have rolled out and not actually got to the pocket. If it had been my speed, that wouldn't happen. It would have hit the 3-6 in the face.
Eugene McCune, a 3-time PBA Tour titleist. Looking for his first actual PBA 50 Tour title. He had one last season.
Oh, no good. Looks like Walter tried to go straighter outside. He might be a little bit confused, or he might not want to start on that right lane. That ball just checked and came in high.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be okay, but down the lane it just never got to that spot, it looked like.
So I guess I would have to think in his fill shot, he threw the other ball, which looked pretty good. Why he didn't start with that? Maybe he just felt that he had a better look. Walter's not a big one to switch balls. I mean, he's got a bunch of hand positions also. So changing, oh, there he goes. He is going for the other ball. But for the most part, once he finds a ball, he'll switch speeds and hand positions to make that work.
Walter down early, got a little bit of work to do to catch up.
So when he grabbed his wrist, it didn't, I guess there wasn't a problem. He just instinctively grabbed his wrist. It looks like he didn't like that either, but he moved in off of that. He's shaking his head like he got away with that. But that's always a confusing thing when you get away with a shot and you maybe don't feel like you threw it the greatest. Oh, and that went Brooklyn. So now what do you do? You know, is he going to move farther left? Because we know if he moved left farther, they hook more. So is he going to go right? Is he going to go left? I don't think I would try playing Eugene's game because Eugene's the only one that can play that game. Oh, he just caught, look at that. He caught a whole bunch of that looking at his hand like he hit that too hard. The grips might be coming out of this ball.
I think they got left on his finger.
as hard and as many revs as Eugene got, he says his son has got more speed and more revs. I was like, that's kind of hard to imagine, but youth is a wonderful thing. Eugene
3,
McCune
9,
finished.
10.
He finished in the show here last year also. So this is kind of like a repeat. Oh, he's switching, throwing a different ball. Looks like he picked up a phase 2.
We'll see if this is just for the spare attempt or for an interesting way to pick it up. See if it's just a spare attempt or a strike shot, but that was an interesting spare. This is not how we typically want to pick this up, is it?
No, that was you have to call that luck.
Yeah.
He knew he missed it, and then he got a break, and he's like, "Oh, really? Okay, yes, sir. I'll take that." Now, is he going to try to go to a ball that's no? He's going to stick with the same ball. Looking at his hand like talking to his fingers. Don't do this.
McCune up 29, 31 rather. Nice shot there. Asking himself, why didn't he do that last shot? And Walter Ray, as he steps up, he only needed to finish 15th or better in this tournament to clinch up the PBA 50 Player of the Year. And obviously you see him now, so he's done that.
So he is Player of the Year then.
Yes,
Congratulations. You know, earlier I mentioned, if you're hitting light and striking, do you make an adjustment to go flush or you stay light? And the gentleman got back to me, Pat Brown, says, to me it's just 50-50 if you want to make that slight adjustment or not, which is true. It's a chance you're going to take anyway, you know. To me, I mean, if I'm hitting half pocket and they're falling down and scattering them, I'm not moving until that doesn't work.
Chase Kaufman here alongside Tom Carter here for the PBA 50 Spectrum Lanes Open in Wyoming, Michigan.
That ball is just not reading the lane quite right. It looks like it wants to get there, but it's just not making the turn. Now, Walter, as I said earlier, has got a lot of hand positions. He might have flattened it out because he thought it was jumping too much too early, but now he's backed it off enough that it's not jumping enough. So there's got to be some kind of adjustment be made. So this is our first time working together.
It is.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is good.
Glad to be here. This is my second event overall. I was back in Monticello, ran that show, and now I'm on the commentary here.
Yeah, I like it.
Having fun. So McCune up 22.
Walter Ray with 95 in the fifth, spare up. Eugene McCune, 97 in the fourth with a strike up. He can take the lead.
And you know what Ron Moore's thinking? Where was this last game?
Right. You always think that.
It always seems to happen that way until then they shoot a 180 and then they shoot 280 next game and you okay, that's pretty good.
You hear that a lot, especially like, oh, solid 9. That ball never did stop going left. You hear that in like the Masters with that bracket system.
Right.
You know, you just shot, say, 720 and you lost, and the guy next to you is shooting 540 and winning. You watch Eugene on that follow through there. He's just trying to keep his hand open, not over hit the ball, because if he does, it's going to hook.
So this might be a tough question, but a lot of coaches always tell kids, stay down in your shot, don't fall over. McCune does the exact opposite. Why do you think he's so successful doing what he's able to do?
Well, I would have to go with revs and speed. For most of us, we can't throw it that hard, and we don't rev it that much. So we always preach being solid at the line. Stick the shot, being solid. And Norm Duke is a master at it, and obviously he's got 30-some titles to his credit. And with Eugene only having 3, and you got the greats with a whole bunch. Look at Pete Weber, sticks every shot. Parker Bone, and that's earlier I said that you couldn't throw it in the gutter on day one, and when I talked to LeClaire, he said today you could throw it in the gutter because he threw 4 gutter balls. There's not that defined, I mean, massive friction like there was the first day.
McCune trying to come back after that. Gutter, he will not. He'll open in the 7th.
He is
Opens
ripping.
the door.
Here we go. He's overhitting the ball. And he's going to make an adjustment. I told you the grips might come out of this ball.
All tied up now here in the 7th frame.
Barring that Walter strikes here, right?
Correct.
But I don't think I'd want to open the door for Walter because I'm pretty sure he's going to step right through the door.
Oh, yeah. He'll knock it down.
Kind of like that.
Tied through 7, and Walter Ray has the opportunity to take the lead here with a double. Take another look at this one. Do you notice any adjustments he might have made on this shot?
To me, it looks like he just really squared up to the shot. I mean, he didn't give it away a lot. He tightened up the line. Obviously, the ball's going to loses energy as it goes away from the pocket and comes back because the ball's going to slow down, especially with this much friction. And if you can keep it on line a little bit more, you got a better chance, I think, of carrying it on this. So if he can tighten up the line, and I'm surprised Eugene's not really kind of moving to the right, firing it up. But Walter, I mean, that looked a lot straighter through the front part of the lane than what's been going on.
Walter Ray now with a 10-pin lead. Walter went plus 247 day 1, plus 304 day 2, plus 134 in his first round of match play, and plus 185 in match play round 2. Back to McCune now. And can't get the 10 out there.
Now, he kind of hate to see that kind of, it looked like he was almost, I don't want to call it defeated, but he's like, that should have carried, you know. You got to stay aggressive because he's searching right now, you know, and you definitely don't want to let your opponent think that, you know, you're out of the match. And you're never, whoa.
It fell, don't worry.
That ball went down there quick. And if you've ever watched Eugene Bull at all, even on the shows, he can throw it 100. He's got one of the best ratings, you know, that I think it was the Cheetah tournament on TV that he was throwing it 1,000,000 miles an hour off the outside and just crushed him.
Eugene needing a double to stay in this most likely. Does get to the 9th.
Well, and Eugene posted that shot better. He didn't jump out of it as much. And I think when you jump up, just my opinion, when you jump up as you're releasing the ball, you're going to hit up on the ball and you're going to make it overhook, and odds are you're going to pull it left of your target.
McCune can max out for 215. Williams for a 235.
It's not over yet.
No, it is not.
Walter hopping him out. I don't know if I call that a run, but he's hopping him to the left.
That 10-pin's been the last to fall.
I
for
think
many of his strikes today.
I think they're just scared of Fancy. I'm scared back here. That was more over like 9-10. He's keeping it much tighter. That's what makes him so amazing. He's got so many tricks, and the greats, I think, I swear to God, they got X-ray vision. They can see the lane somehow, you know, what's best and where to play. That wasn't a very good shot.
No, you could see that one in at the break point.
And that's not what he wanted in the first ball of the 10th frame. That just went high. He got that a little bit right early, and now he's got the 310, picks this up, strikes out, 213. McCune can strike out for 215.
Not sure. He was looking at something over there. Can't really tell if it was a person or just upset in general. So this is what you ask for as a bowler, though. Just give me a chance.
Well,
See if you can take advantage of it. And he missed it.
Unbelievable. 201.
So Oh, that's going to force McCune to get the first one.
He needs the first one in the 10th. And that is totally whatever bothered Walter obviously bothered him a lot.
It was interesting, though. It wasn't as he threw it, really. It seemed like it was as he came back is when he noticed it.
Right.
So I don't know if someone maybe cheering against him or something happened. And McCune looking back around the same area.
Yeah. He heard something. Something's going on.
Not sure. I don't hear anything, but you
We
never
got
know
headsets on.
That's true. Also, when you're up there, you hear everything when you're up there.
Well, I do. I got rabbit ears. I can hear behind me. That's a terrible thing.
Turn back again, same area.
Something's going on.
No, I'm scared to talk.
McCune needs this one.
Crosses over
For
and
Brooklyn.
gets the 9 to fall.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
13 distractions, and he gets the break. Now he's got to get count, though. He hasn't won it yet. He's got to get count.
Mike Eaton, our tournament host, enjoying this. And Tom, who does that feel worse for? Williams, because he just almost lost to a Brooklyn, or McCune because he beat Williams with the Brooklyn?
I guarantee you both of those guys feel bad. I mean, neither one of them. I'm sure he doesn't want to win that way, and Walter didn't want to, see that happen. He didn't want to lose missing a 310 either.
At the end of the day, though, if McCune takes this win, he's going to be happy that this happened. Needing just good count here.
The high hard one up the outside, and that's his A game.
Eugene McCune comes back.
Defeating Walter Ray Williams. Walter ending up with 201 if Eugene throws this last strike shooting 215. Walter has to live another day to get that 15th title to break the record from John Handegard. Both of them tied at 14 PBA senior titles. Walter wants that win. McCune will go on to compete against our tournament leader, the guy with the voodoo roll, Lenny Borsch.
Eugene McCune moves on 215 to 201. We'll be right back for our stepladder final match here at Spectrum Lanes for the PBA 50 Spectrum Lanes Open presented by DV8. We'll be right back. As our final bowlers take their final practice shots, Eugene McCune is going to take on Lenny Borsch Jr. And Tom, kind of saw a little bit happening there in that last 10th frame between both Walter Ray and Eugene McCune. What happened there?
I guess over here by the door, because they remodeled, and this is all kind of a new entrance over here, the plate down there, if you cross it or you step on it, it makes this loud snapping sound. And that's what they were hearing, people coming in, spectators coming in the bathrooms over there.
Oh, okay.
And they're going across this plate. and not trying to make any
So
kind
nothing
of
intentional.
no,
Okay.
not any noise that they were trying to do, but it just happened to be at the wrong time, and it caught everybody, and they heard it.
Yeah, at first, because it was the same thing twice. They all looked back there 3 different
Well-
times, so I thought, is someone rooting against somebody here?
Well, at first when I asked John Weber, he said plate, and when he said it, it sounded like he said fight, and I go, "There's a fight? there wasn't a
I
fight.
didn't hear that.
It was a plate. It's over here by the new construction. So unfortunately, it's just bad timing, and it's just unfortunately the name of the game. This happens. We're in a bowling center. You never know what's going to happen. We got a bar behind us. We got an arcade. Things happen. You don't want them to happen, but you never know.
All right, well, let's hope nothing happens here. Let's get back to the lanes and see what happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to start the championship match of PBA 50 Spectrum Lanes Open here in Wyoming. Lenny Borge coming on board. Lenny's won 4 PBA 50 Tour Championships. He's a USBC Hall of Famer. Lenny Borge, Eugene McCune for all of it. Good luck, Lenny.
Final match coming up of the PBA 50 Spectrum Lanes Open presented by DV8 here between Eugene McCune, the 2 seed, and the 1 seed Lenny Borsch Jr.
The guy with the voodoo roll. Lenny making his second show. He finished 4th last week at Championship Lanes. So last match, Eugene decided to hook it. This match, kind of going with a high hard one.
Yeah, we kind of saw him go all over the place almost that last game. We saw him start out well. In the middle, he kind of struggled, and then he finished out well. So it'll be interesting to see what he ends up doing here for these final 10 frames.
Well, these guys technically never bowled each other in match play today until they tied for first place for the show. Then they had to bowl to see who was going to be first and second. And obviously Lenny won that match. He's the top seed.
Essentially, it was at the time a $1,500 match because the loser would have won a minimum $2,500 and the winner would have won minimum $4,000. All is good and done, though. They're the
Yep.
1 and 2 seeds now. Just a little more work for McCune in the middle. Winner will take home $7,500. Borish with his first shot here.
Lenny Borsch is unbelievable. That guy comes from nowhere, it seems like, and sneaks up on you. And next thing you know, he's on the show. And you're like, where was Lenny earlier? Lenny throwing a symmetrical ball. The new Emerald IQ.
Lenny last
Pinned
season.
down.
Pinned down too.
Yeah, didn't quite see where Eugene's was, but this being pinned down makes the ball a little bit smoother, takes that differential out of the ball, lets it just kind of roll off the pattern, which is really not a bad idea when you've got this much friction.
Maybe kick
And
out that 6 there.
And Lenny playing them straighter like Walter went to, in that last game. Walter kind of tightened up things, and kind of what Lenny's doing. The half pocket, the carry in this place is unbelievable, because I don't think in some of the places that we bowled, some of these would have fallen quite as easily.
McCune on a spare. He's the 3-6-10, comes in a little high.
That went down there quick. Either he's going to have to move in or he's going to have to bump the gutter just a little bit. That hit like 10-11. He never got that right down lane. So that was just a mental mistake on his part. I'm sure that's not where he was playing. The 3-6-10, 9,000 ways to miss it, one way to make it. And that's
How about that way?
okay. I don't think Nelson Burton would agree with that, but that's normally you want to hit the 3-6 and the 6 take out the 10, but you can hit the left side of the 3 and hope you can domino him, and he did.
Eugene McCune out of Munster, Indiana, 51 years old.
That's why he throws it so hard. He's young.
Gotcha.
I'm going with
gotcha.
that. How's that?
Works for me. McCune down 13 rather. And almost 2-8-10 there, and that was something I didn't see a lot of this week. There wasn't a lot of 2-8-10s as compared to a lot of other places I've seen.
So I would attribute that there was so much friction, it was hard to come in light.
Mm-hmm.
The ball just bounced off of the gutter. But here's something, since all the guys have told me today, there seems to be a little bit more schnot outside if you hit it at the wrong spot.
And it looks like that re-rack we saw in 29.
Oh, he must have
Left it
thrown
on
it
the
on the second side.
Yeah, left it on the second, so they're going to have to reset that sleeper.
Ah, there's another pin down. Phase 2. With Eugene's speed, there's no doubt that he could probably pick this up, because there was a lot of pins that bounced out from the back. I crossed with Bob Learn, and he threw pins everywhere, and we were always chasing them back into the pit.
McCune cleans up the sleeper. Now down 15. Lenny Borish Jr. out of Kenosha, Wisconsin. He won the 2018 PBA 50 National Championship for his first major and his 4th career title.
Lenny, you can't say prince of a guy. You can't say enough about him. But when he gets on the lanes, and he's kind of that quiet tiger, and he just never seems to give up the pocket. He always finds a way to get the job done. He is quite the player.
Yeah, I was about to say, he kind of seems like one of those guys that just always sticks around.
Yeah, and
Never shooting super high scores, but he's always sticking around.
I don't care if he qualified 24th today. It would make no difference, because he'll find his way to the show. It's kind of like him and Ron Moore have this second sense that when it comes to match play, they just get so focused that they strike a lot.
3 300s between these two bowlers here this weekend. Lenny Borish with the majority of them, 2.
Yeah.
McCune had 1.
Well, that's what makes Lenny on the show. You don't when you have 2 300s, you're going to generate some plus pins.
Oh, yeah. And Borish was 10th after qualifying.
Lenny with that unique approach that almost thank you so much.
Those are the ones where you cheer as if it was a strike, but all you did was just get rid of the split. Those were my favorites.
Because he definitely happy, because that was ugly at the beginning. That came in high, came off the spot a little hard, and it looked like it was going to be a 5 count, ends up being a 4 count, ends up being a 3 count. So he has a 3.610. You got to say he lucked out on that. You watch his. Lenny's fourth and fifth step. They are just so tiny, just quick steps.
Four games over. .270 for Lenny this week. A couple 300s, a 279 and a 277.
Well, the condition we had was conducive to high scores. That, if you could get to the pocket, obviously getting to the pocket wasn't the hard part. Is the carry. If you had the right roll, you got the job done. So, we're going to roll the 2-pin from the backside. Eugene's looking like he's totally lost because he's tried 2 different balls on probably 3 different lines now, and doesn't like any of them. That went right up 5 at about 6 down lane at quite fast. If they had the miles per hour up there on the screen, I would let you know. But that went down there quick.
Gonna stick with the same ball. For most of match play, from what I saw at least, it seemed like he was throwing the phase 2 outside of first error for the most part. But now, right now, he's throwing this.
A lot of the guys, like we said earlier on the show, that use some surface just to smooth out that back end. A lot of guys didn't throw Pearl because Pearl. Okay, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean,
Got that one in.
That's what speed and revs do for you. It makes pins mix. And
Let's take another look. Wow.
That was down there quick. That was high. Ball comes off the sideboard.
Logged a 3.
That you're not going to see. And here's the problem. He's had 2 shots. Granted, he's got a double. But how do you duplicate? How do you reproduce those shots?
Be interesting to see what he does. Borish. Now up by just 1.
That ball was a little bit farther outside, but it made it back to the pocket, just kind of that half pocket swooshing hit. I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't change a thing. If it's going to carry, I'm going to stay there. Take my chances when it quits carrying.
Final match here, halfway through. No commercials. We didn't have any commercials in the first 3 games either. We're better than TV. Borish up by 1.
Maybe I can get a motorhome company to sponsor us so mine doesn't break down.
9-3 in match play was Borish Jr.
That was like 10-5, and that didn't get out as far.
And it showed.
Yep. He's trying to keep it tight, but one thing you can't do, it looks like they're almost hooking sooner. You can't get soft. This is a definite opening for McCune. I mean, he's getting some breaks going his way.
See if McCune can take advantage of the couple lucky strikes he had.
Yeah, looking for his first PBA title. He, again, does have a title. Well, can't call it a title. He did win, but it was as a non-member.
Obviously would love to have his first real title here.
So he's changed back again. So this is kind of a hodgepodge of what are we going to do and try to find something. And we're in the 6th frame already, and we haven't decided on what we're going to do and where we're going to throw it.
It's been working so far. He's still leading. And he won his last match, so we'll see what happens here. This one looks all right. Locks the 10.
Again, we talk about not
lead.
being solid at the line. You asked me that question earlier. His speed and his rev rate can make those kind of things happen. I mean, he's not giving up the pocket, and he can throw it hard enough to make them mix.
Oh, yeah, for a lot of guys, a shot like that, easy 10-pin flat, but since it's him.
I don't think there's, other than maybe John Burkett, I don't think there's a senior out here that can throw it as hard as Eugene can.
At least with the accuracy he does consistently. Trying to make it a 4-bagger. That was an interesting shot,
Wow.
Tom. What
That
happened
is-
there?
He's just going so hard and so fast to the line. I mean, you get your feet going that fast and want to throw it that hard and see how it is to stop. I mean, he's literally on his toes. His heel for braking didn't even hardly come into play. He was up on his toes trying to get to stop. I mean, that's where he gets all that leverage, because if he can get stopped quick, that arm comes through. Oh my! It's like a catapult.
Lenny not able
Compared
to
to
pick up set
Eugene's
now.
ball going down
Right.
there, this looks like it took like 3 seconds to get there. Eugene is, and sometimes it happens. You actually have to take the lane out of play, and when you can throw it that hard, you're not giving the ball time enough to read the lane condition. You know, most of the time we want to follow the lane condition, and that shot's going to be more repeatable. But when the lanes get so kind of goofy, if you can throw it that hard and keep it on line and take the lane out of play, it's kind of like going to the Peterson. You know, roll
Right.
the Peterson, take the lane out of play, hit the head pin.
20-20. Borish is going to need a double or two here. Max out for 222. McCune can max out for a lot more.
Yeah,
265 to be exact.
Yeah.
Needs doubles and needs help.
he's going to 225 pace now without having to do anything. Lenny's got to light him up here.
And
2-8-10. So that lane has definitely become a little bit questionable, a little squirrely, because now it's like the ball's not reading the back end of the lane at all. Like, where did the friction go? Either that ball, now here's the big dilemma we always talk about. Did the ball burn up and not make the turn, or was it the oil carried down and kept it from making the turn? You know, and I would pretty much have to say, since this is such a short pattern, it could, even a pearl ball could burn up, because they're designed to really read that dry as soon as they see it. And if it hits that dry, it uses so much energy so quick, it could have just stopped.
McCune taking advantage 5 in a row.
He is absolutely throwing bullets down the lane.
That's what he's best at.
If I did that, my shoulder would still be in the ball going down the lane. There would be parts flying off.
Different reason to
Yeah.
withdraw.
Yeah, I'd have a different reason to withdraw. Not my knee this time.
McCune trying to make it
Oh.
6 in a row.
Oh.
Can't log out the 10 there.
Yeah.
He's okay with it. And that, ladies and gentlemen,
Is pretty much wrapped up this match.
It
right
is.
now. It is, because
McCune can miss this and go gutter gutter for 202. Borish maxes out for 198.
Eugene McCune, unbelievable. This is where speed and power come in, and youth comes into play.
For
You know,
sure.
we're on the PBA 50 tour, but Eugene, being 51 years old, strong young guy, and he's always been able to throw it hard. He's got such great leverage, and he just overpowered the lane.
And we kind of saw him struggle early on. And day one of qualifying only went 30 or 40 over. And then something had to click. And he came back and rose to the top. He just ever so slightly jumped a couple spots each game. And all of a sudden, he's the 2 seed. And now he's the tournament champion.
Well, you know, when you see guys moving left and not striking, and they're moving right and they're not striking, Eugene just goes, well, I'll take both of those out of play.
Straighter is greater.
Yep, and I'm going at the pocket.
Borish going to try to finish this out strong.
But, you know, the hard thing, that left lane has totally got him waxed. But, you know, the hard thing about what Eugene's doing, and it's a good thing, even though he's 51, youth on his side, keeping that speed up, you know, for a whole day in match play, or even if he would have been in the first match, keeping it up for all the matches, that is tough to do. Lenny Borish, best he can do if he strikes is 178. Eugene McCune can go out at 244. Lenny striking out, finishing up 178, and I know as well as he's bowled today, then he won in that position round match, then run in the roll off. This is not what he wanted, but you never know what's going to happen on the championship pair, the way guys break them down. Congratulations to Eugene McCune winning his first PBA 50 title.
And what I can presume is the first of probably a few more.
Yeah, when you're 51 and you're out here, and a lot of guys, believe it or not, are out here and they're still in their 70s. He's got 20 years on the senior tour. I expect more titles to be coming his way.
Final match, 230 to 178 in favor of Eugene McCune, who takes home the PBA 50 Spectrum Lanes Open title presented by DV8.
And $7,500.
And 75, don't forget that check. We're going to send it down to John Weber real quick.
Opportunity to thank the Eaton family for hosting our event. Mike Marks, thanks so much for everything that you have done. And thanks to all of you for coming out, and of course our local sponsors here who supported this tournament as well. Let's bring Mike Eaton out, Mike Senior and Junior, to present all the money and the hardware and so forth. Oh, yes. Two microphones. Eugene planned a lot of shots there the last couple of games, and how do you do it, Eugene? How do you make those pins fly around like that and get Brooklyns and trip 2s and trip 3s? And congratulations to Eugene, and turn the microphone over to Eugene, and thanks so much.
Oh my God, this must be my favorite bowling ever. I won my first national title here. I made the show in Bolden Arena the one year. Came in third last year, and I won my first senior tournament here.
Awesome.
I think I love you guys. And the new place looks awesome, man. I can't wait till we come back. Hopefully my kid will be here for the college tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
That'd be awesome to see everything. But thank God, I never bowled so bad in my life and won something.
Eugene, on behalf of the PBA and all of us here at Spectrum Entertainment Complex, congratulations, man. Here you go. Here's the check and the hardware, of course.
Where's Pete? Where's Pete?
On a quick note, everybody, we will have the PBA 50 back next year. Two squads, John. Two squads. Two squads. Two squads.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thanks very much, Mike. And Mike, that's an inside joke for most of us, hopefully. Hopefully. But congratulations again to Eugene McCune, PBA 50 Tour title #1. Thanks to all of you for coming out. Hope you enjoyed the competition. And that wraps it up here. Let's go to the restaurant and bar and have a good time this evening. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up from John Weber. I'm Chase Kaufman alongside Tom Carter. Tom,
Glad to be here.
Thank you. Glad to have you in the box. Had such a great tournament. So many good matches this week. Eugene McCune came out on top, and we will see you guys this week, actually.
And we'll see you back here next year. We just got the news that we're going to be back here next year.
Great place. Hopefully the boutique's done by then.
Yes, we'll be bowling in the new 12 lanes for the TV show. That will be awesome.
I'll have a nice show for you, so make sure you tune in this week in Jackson, Michigan. For Chase Kaufman, Tom Carter, this has been a Flow Bowling production from the PBA 50 Spectrum Lanes Open presented by DV8. Thanks for watching.
See you next week.